All right, my friends, you know what that music means. Yes, indeed. It's time for another edition of Wednesday Night Live. Good evening, Craig. How are you? John's on the road to Louisville. I should just leave this music in the background. Oh, I love that music. Hello, David. How are you? Nice to have you along with us. Ed Bolanowski's with us. Jim, nice. What day is it? It's kind of early to ask what day it is. Mike, what day is it? It's hump day. Heather, good evening. How are you? Brian, nice to have you along with us on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. Bernie, hello. How are you this evening? On an absolutely beautiful Wednesday evening in my part of the great state of Michigan. So what's going on besides the weather, right? Well, the weather's kind of, hey, Lance, how are you, buddy? Lance Valentine of teachandfishing.com. Lance Valentine, one of my favorite people in the entire world. Always a pleasure, Lance. John Seator, where down there he is, of Brenton USA Hunting Rifles, BrentonUSA.com, BrentonUSA.com. Use the promo code Avery to get $100 off on a Brenton USA hunting rifle. Hello, Michelle. How are you? Oh, nice. Ross, congrats on a 41-yard shot on that bird this morning. Very, very impressive. Nice job. Jim says it's 84 in Tennessee and muggy, humid. Julie, good evening. How are you? I don't recognize your name. Glad to have you along with us. Appreciate you joining us on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. Hello, Dennis. How are you this evening? So my name is Mike Avery. Wednesday Night Live is something I do every Wednesday night on most of my social media outlets. Haven't figured out a way to put it live on Instagram yet, but we're working on it. Hello, Cody. How are you? Cody says, hi, Mike. Big thanks for doing everything you do. Your show has definitely got me through some boring days at work. Any way I can help. Hello, Lori. How are you? Nice to have you along with. Lori posted some pictures to the wall of Sturgeon Guard this past weekend. Cool. As you know, I had Brenda Archambault on the show last weekend, the Sturgeon General. Oh, isn't it nice that the days are getting so much longer? Hey, Ross. Are you going bear hunting in White River this spring or not until fall? David, good evening. How are you, buddy? JC. All right, Tony, how are you? JC, nice to have you along with us. Tony, how's the fishing been? Terry says it's warm in Shingleton. Tony, keep an eye on that skinny water for me, will you? It's going to be at least a couple of weeks. Lance says it is a slaughter fest right now in the Detroit River. 4-man limits of 2 to 6 pound fish in less than 2-hour trips right now. Wow. You're going in August. Hey, Ross. Now, I didn't get my turkey yet. I'm still working on it and having a lot of fun doing it. Sorry. As many times as I clear my throat tonight, I'll have to continue to keep clearing it because with everything in bloom, everything busting out, there's just pollen everywhere. Smallmouth on fire right now on Lake St. Clair. Caught a ton Sunday in 5 to 8 feet of water. Lance, I want to go back to my angler quest. And Tony, keep an eye on the skinny water for me. I talked to Brad Dupuis at Angler Quest, Mr. Angler Quest himself. He said they hope to have my boat to me by Labor Day, Memorial Weekend. Tony's about ready to start fishing the skinny water next week. Excellent. Dan, good evening. How are you? Uncle Johnny, how are you, buddy? Nice to have you along with us on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. Uncle Johnny's become a regular viewer. I appreciate that, Johnny. So what else is going on? Somebody was asking me if I had my turkey yet. No, I do not. I'm playing cat and mouse with a couple of birds. I will be out there tomorrow morning. On the way home from Saginaw today, there's my guy right there, Bear LeClaire. Love that name, Bear. I stopped by my buddy Doug's farm, and I moved my gear from one blind to another, on one side of the property to the other. I've got about a 2-hour window in there before they start working in the yard behind me there. It's a landscape yard. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens. What's up? Morels are popping. Need some rain. We do need some rain. Absolutely. Ted, nice to have you along with us on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. Always a pleasure. Dave Langdon, how are you? Brian, always a pleasure. Lost Glove Farm. Greetings from the farm. Well, greetings right back at you. Hey, Tim, how are things in your beautiful piece of heaven there? I'm enjoying your posts on Instagram. You and Jen, you do a great job, and it looks just wonderful up there. I'm so happy for you guys. We lowered the dock because the water level keeps dropping, and because my dock was so high last year, I had a couple of guys lower my dock about 2 feet last Saturday, so I should be ready. Am I bear hunting this spring? No, John, I am bear hunting in the fall, both in Michigan and in Ontario. Good evening. I've recently been introduced to you via Facebook from my buddy Marty Bell. Well, Hazen. Well, listen, I'm glad to have you along with us. I hope you can become a stream. There we go. Found 7 morels this afternoon. Need some rain. Tim's working on a new barn right now. Good evening, Kevin. How are you? 80s, even in the UP today. Hello, Martin. How are you? Hazen, I am, my website is MikeAveryOutdoors.com. I have a YouTube channel. I have a Twitter feed. I'm also on Instagram. Everything is either Mike Avery Outdoors. It's pretty much Mike Avery Outdoors. John is hoping to draw for a Red Oaks tag this fall, John, and I bet you're going to use that Brenton USA hunting rifle, aren't you? I bet you are. Now, John Seator from Brenton USA keeps teasing me. The gun I ordered is done. It's waiting for me. But I can't have it until we show you the gun right here on a Wednesday Night Live. Let me check this message here, please. See what it says. Okay, I'll hit the big yes on that. Boom, a big thumbs up. Boom. Boom. John's hoping to draw a red oak this fall. Hey, John, another John, nice to have you along with us. Oh, stop it. John Seator, stop it. Why is everybody texting me during a Wednesday Night Live? In fact, hey, I'm on Wednesday Night Live. He should be watching. He should know that. Anyway, we will introduce you to that gun here in the next few weeks whenever Mike King, the company owner, gets back from his hunt. A bear took down your bird feeder last night. How are things in Marlette? A lot of where'd John Callison go? A lot of Johns on tonight. Jim says he let a retired CO turkey hunt on his farm. Shot a 28 2-inch spurs. Those retired game wardens, you can't trust those retired game wardens. You should trust radio guys to hunt your property. Scott says, so am I. Eric, how are you, buddy? Nice to have you along with us. Eric of Longline Treaders. Joe, I have no idea what happened, but Mr. Turkey. No idea what happened, but Mr. Turkey today. Sorry. I don't know what that means. Hello, Derek. Got another part for the boat, slowly piecing it together as finances allow. You got to do what you got to do in the time. Myself back in. There we go. Anyway, I talked to Brad Dupuy about my angler quest, and it's going to be a couple of weeks yet, but that's okay. It's worth waiting for. 26-foot Pro Troll Deluxe with a 300 horse Mercury on it. Tell me that boat isn't worth waiting for. I'd like to have it right now, but I'll wait for it. Patrick, good evening. How are you? No technical issues, Ed. User error. I'm hitting the wrong button. You missed him. I got you, Joe. You missed him. Okay. Well, maybe you'll get another shot at him. Coopersville checking in. Brian, how are you? We may have talked about this before, Brian, but I grew up in Cedar Springs. Coopersville was in our league. I think Coopersville was in our league. Didn't you guys, didn't you guys back in about 1975, I'm going way back, have a state Class B championship basketball team? Yeah, that was Coopersville. I played against those guys. They deserved to win the state championship that year. They were awesome. Do not forget that May is the time to apply for your Michigan bear and elk tags. I will be bear hunting in White River, Ontario, Canada in mid-August. And at the end of September, I will be bear hunting with Johnny Bowler, the bear whisperer, up by Seney. And then I'm heading to Ohio to hunt whitetails with Bill Piles of Ohio Bow Hunting Outfitters. I do want to let you know we have a spot open there on that hunt. We got a spot open. I'd love to have you join us. Get in touch with me for details. You missed a great bird, but not given up. Absolutely. Don't ever give up. Just because you miss a bird doesn't mean he's gone. Birds are crazy right now. I mean, he might come right back tomorrow. Good evening, Randy. How are you? Nice to have you along with us. Celine checking in. John, how are you? Pleasure. Brian saw some hens today. He says the heat is on. I will be out there, as I say, first thing tomorrow morning. I will have Roscommon here. Got rain today from Higgins Lake down Clare. Good. My setup tomorrow will be I'm sitting in one of those Wraith 270 see-through ground blinds, of course. And I've got a hen decoy in front of me laying on the ground. And I've got a semi-strut Jake decoy above her. My hope is that a longbeard will wander through there, see that, and say, I'm not having anything of that. And he'll come in and give me a shot. Claire got hammered today. My uncle said he got 3 to 4 inches of rain. Well, I wish he would have shared some of that rain. Kenny, good evening. How are you? How are things at the Jay's Sporting Goods? jsportinggoods.com. jsportinggoods.com. One of my favorite stores and some of my favorite people in the absolute world. The goose fence. Well, my friends, I know you had some great suggestions on how to deal with geese. One of them was to spray Bird Be Gone on my yard so the grass wouldn't taste good and so the geese would leave it alone. Bird Be Gone, I understand now, has been banned in Michigan, so I can't use it. And all your thoughts about decoys and such, I'm just going to put the goose fence back up. And now they got their little goslings, their babies up in the yard. It's time to keep them out of here. Mike says it's hump day. Mike, what day is it? It's hump day. Turkey season is busy. I bet it is. Kenny is in the Gaylord store. And I think, Kenny, if I remember, you're the hunting department manager of Jay's Gaylord store, correct? Yes, no? Let me know. Where are you going, John? Or John, see, why you got to leave? So you jumped on here just to tease me about my new 350 Legend from Brenton USA, BrentonUSA.com. Use the promo code Avery, save $100. You jumped on here to tease me about my new gun, and then you leave? I thought you were my friend. What else? Okay. You will read what I wrote after you. Wasn't that hoping it's longer? Huh. Okay. Oh, picking up your boy from strength camp. All right. He can go. Yes, the hunting department manager at Jay's in Gaylord. Bernie says he's never gone turkey hunting. His friends always tell me as much as I love to hunt, I would absolutely love turkey hunting. Do turkeys have a rut or something like that? Yes, and we're in it right now, Bernie. We're in it right now. This is the let me see if I can make my screen a little bigger here. I can. This helps me out tremendously. Now I can read your comments better. Okay. This is the turkey breeding season right now. And right now is a real good time. What would you say? Try the stakes used to mark for plowing. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I'm telling you, none of these stakes and mylar tape and string and fishing line. I don't know if it's because these are city birds and they're just used to being around people and they're not afraid of people. It doesn't work. So I'm going to put the fence up. Anyway, this is the mating season, the breeding season right now, Bernie. And that's why calling can be so effective, especially during the May season that I call the mosquito season. Because a lot of the hens now, midday especially, are sitting on nests. And the birds are, in theory, more receptive. Michael, look at your comment. It covered my beautiful face. Caught a northern pike this weekend, didn't have a tape to measure, dollar bill to measure. Use a dollar bill to measure fish. 4.10 inches. Interesting. Hello, Sal. How are you? Driving back from Marysville, hump day on Wednesday Night Live. Can I tell you who's on the show this week? I'm actually thinking it's a very interesting rundown this week. You may have seen this post online about this discolored Saginaw Bay walleye. And this post is getting a lot of attention. And it was posted by a guy named Keith DeWald Jr. Now, one of the reasons I had Keith on the show, a couple of reasons. Number one, I wanted to talk to him about that post because it's being misrepresented. The news media and Facebook and social media are trying to make it out to be something that it's not. And they're trying to make it out to be that there is a big problem with Saginaw Bay and Lake Erie walleye, that the fish are discolored. That's not the case. They have found 4 fish, 1 in Saginaw Bay and 3 in Lake Huron, that have this discoloring. So the reason that Keith put the post out there is he wants to let people know, if you find a fish like that, hang on to it. Don't throw it away, because the DNR wants to take a look at it and try to figure out what it is. It is not a widespread problem. It is not a plague. It is not decimating the fishery. I've had people say, Avery, are you guys going to cancel the Walleye for Warriors event because of it? No, don't cancel anything. Don't cancel your plans. Don't cancel your trips. Don't cancel your outings. Don't cancel your vacations. It's not the big deal that social media is making it out to be. So Keith DeWald is the president of the Saginaw Bay Walleye Club. I worked with Keith's dad very closely about 35 years ago when I started something called the News 5 Outdoors Saginaw Bay Walleye Circuit. I did that in cooperation with sportsmen's groups around Saginaw Bay. And we did it to try to promote the fishery and bring all those little community tournaments together. Keith was my guy. Keith DeWald Sr. was my guy in Au Gray. I worked very closely with him for a few years. He's gone now, unfortunately. But his son, Keith Jr., if I can call him that, is keeping up their tradition. How cool is that? Ed's heading down to Lake Erie. We'll start looking for fish in Saginaw Bay. Ed, I didn't realize you were fishing walleye for Warriors. Thank you very much. And we need to schedule your trip too, Ed. What is the best brand of heated vest? I can't tell you, Steve. I don't know what the best brand is. I bought a couple of them and I bought the cheapest I could find. So I can't tell you what the best brand is. But I will tell you this. I love my heated vest. I don't need it right now. Scare Masters at work. Hey, Chris, how are things in Kansas? Big buck state of Kansas. So anyway, Keith DeWald is my first guest. says the man with no boat. Hey, don't be mean. I will have a boat in a couple of weeks. Along that line, Scott Hand said they're canceling Walleye for Warriors only if Avery doesn't get his angler quest by June 11th. Brad Dupuis now has pressure to get it done. I should screenshot that. Oh, I think I can. Hold on. Look at this. I just screenshotted that. I'm going to send that to, I could do another one where I don't have my mouth open looking so stupid. There. I'll send that one to Brad. Good one, Scott. Hello, Jerry. How are you this evening? 96 in Kansas today. Holy guacamole. So anyway, after Keith DeWald on the radio show this weekend, by the way, that radio show can be heard on 33 broadcast radio stations across Michigan, the podcast available anywhere. Tom Campbell of Woods and Water News wraps up the first hour of the show. In hour number 2, we're talking bear hunting and bear tags and what the system is with Cody Norton. He is the DNR's large carnivore specialist. Get this. Cody's job is to work with bear, cougars, and wolves. Is that not a pretty cool job? Cody's a hardcore bear hunter. And guess where he's going in May? He's going to White River, Ontario, Canada to hunt with Ron St. Louis of Northern Wilderness Bear Outfitters because he heard me talking about it. I think that's very cool. Then Dr. Megan Moriarty, Scott Hand, are you listening? Dr. Megan Moriarty joins me on the show this week to talk about avian flu, bird flu. This week's Ask Avery segment. Oh, I wish I still had it. There was a question somebody sent me about, and this is kind of creepy, headless deer in Southwest Michigan. The DNR was collecting heads from roadkill to test for chronic wasting disease. They used a contractor to do it. Usually the contractor would take the whole animal. The contractor, in this case, it was a mistake. They made a mistake. They cut the heads off these deer and they left the rest of the deer carcass laying by the side of the road. You talk about something creepy, drive down the road and find headless deer in the ditch. All is well, George. I hope all is well in your world as well. That, anyway, the headless deer is the headless horseman. The headless deer are the subject of this week's Ask Avery segment. And in hour number 3, another thing that I find very interesting, I'm really happy with the show this week and how it came together. Let me preface this with an article from MLive. State agriculture officials said a single captive white-tailed deer at a farm in Mecosta County tested positive for chronic wasting disease. So another one in a behind a fence. Since 10 deer farms have had animals test positive since 2008, and officials found the first free-ranging deer in 2015. So that just happened to come out today. Now, I talked to Chad Stewart of the Michigan DNR. He is their whitetail specialist. And I said, Chad, what is the department's position on deer farms? Are you guys against them? Are you for them? Are you worried that in some way deer farms are spreading CWD? And he said, no, we are concerned about CWD statewide in wild deer and in deer farms. Yeah, it was probably COVID. Eagles love those headless deer, do they? I bet they do. So a guy named Dan Harrington, who is a very well-known businessman up in the UP, he's also a member of the United Deer Farmers of Michigan. They are the group that does the high fence enclosures and just blatant deer farms. They raise deer. And he reached out to me and he says, Mike, I think our organization has an interesting story to tell. And if you want, I would be open to joining you on the radio show. And I said, absolutely, because I don't know anything about it. And I think it's a topic that could be discussed, that should be discussed. My frame of mind, my reference is I grew up on a farm on the west side of the state, and we raised cattle. We had deer around the farm, and the deer were out in the woods. Wild. I never thought of the concept, and I never thought that down the road that deer would become like livestock, that they would raise them and grow them and try to, grow the biggest racks that they could. In Dan's case, he does not run a high fence operation. I have nothing against high fence deer hunting operations. God bless those people. I don't choose to do it. I'm not interested in hunting behind a high fence. However, I'll get to that, Ed. Come back to me. Don't interrupt an old guy. I lose my train of thought. I'm gone. If somebody wants to hunt behind a fence, God bless them. It's legal, and I support any legal method of hunting. Even if those people didn't buy a license because they're, not shooting a state-owned deer, they still probably spent a bunch of money on hunting gear, and more importantly, they think of themselves as a hunter. So when they go to the polls to vote on hunting-related issues, I would hope that they would be on our side. Yes, Scott, I am the man. I'm glad you finally realized that. She wouldn't talk about that subject. Just a heads up, she wouldn't talk about that subject. All right, John, see you, buddy. Somewhere in Indiana. So Dan Harrington, what he does at his farm is he grows deer for restaurants and high fence operations, and they're growing deer and shipping them off to a lab in Iowa. And Dan tells me he is convinced that it's the people, the high fence breeders, the deer farmers, he's convinced that they are on the right track to stop CWD. He is convinced of that they will come up with a solution to CWD. The solution will not be found back in the wild, not be found in the wild. He's convinced it'll be found at the high fence operations. Man, I hope that's the case. Wouldn't that be cool? All right, Chris, let you get back to work, buddy. Thanks for checking in, though. Appreciate it. And then we wrap up this week's show with wild game chef extraordinaire Dave Miner. I want to go back to yes, hear this comment. You are the man. I am, Scott. I am the man. I am the man. Ed Bolanowski, speaking of the show, you list the stations you're on, but is there anything with show times? Let me... Your computer. Upload file. Where's the file I want to upload? Let's see if I can find it here. Desktop. Show rundown. Oh. Okay. This is uploading now. Processing. Here we go. Share. Screen. Why can I not share that? I want to share. There we go. It won't let me do it. I'm sorry. Add to stream. There we go. Okay. This is a list, Ed. Now, this is not. Let me get rid of your comment. This is not posted anywhere online, but this is a list of the air times as I have them. So that's as good as I can do for you. All right. 33 stations across the state. The air times vary. Remove. See how I did that? I want to go back to Scott Hand's comment. You are the man. And Scott, I am really glad you finally have realized that. More money to be lost in deer farms than the DNR. And that's, Tim, you're a smart guy. You are a smart guy. I can also add, I'll send you that. I will send you that file too. Dan's a very smart guy. Can I put the list on Facebook? You people are so greedy. Craig Plowman, you get an inch and you want a mile. Yeah, I can do that, guys. Not a problem. The deer farmers have a lot at stake. And I had no idea that deer farming was such a big business. I mean, it's a huge business here in Michigan. Am I done yet? You are the I am a man. Oh, I was the man before, and now I'm a man. Okay, yeah, I'm done. Hey, good evening, Bruce. How are you? Nice to have you along with us on this edition of Wednesday Night Live as I have a little fun with my friends who are watching. I don't know all of you personally. I know many of the people on here tonight, and I consider you guys friends. But even the folks that I don't know who are on here, I got to tell you how much I appreciate your support. You know, listening to the radio show and the podcast and following me on social media and joining me on Wednesday Night Live. This whole Avery Outdoors thing would not be possible, and certainly not possible for 40 years, 4 decades in broadcasting, if I didn't have people who were interested in whatever content I was producing, whether it was video, whether it was TV shows, podcasts, radio, or just sitting here shooting the breeze. So I appreciate it very, very much. God willing, I will be doing this for a while yet. I don't have any signs of retiring. Any thoughts of retiring until I'm at least 70. I'm going to work until I'm at least 70, and I'll be 64 next month. So I'm going to be around for a while. Ever use a wingbone call? Terry, I have not. I have not used a wingbone call. What is the advantage? Now, by a wingbone call, I think you mean using the wingbone as the striker on your slate call. Is that correct? Is that what a wingbone call is? Help me out there, Terry. And based on your logo there, Wild Turkey, maybe you make wingbone calls? Is that what it is? That's kind of interesting. Nope. What is it, Terry? Help me out. A wingbone call. Anybody else know? Obviously, Terry knows. I've heard the term, but I do not know what it is. Terry says, nope. When I go in the woods, I use a slate call. That's my number one call. I also use the Turkey Trooper Plus from Greg Abbas, A-Way Outdoors. It's a one-hand push-button call. I demonstrated it here a couple of weeks ago. Very subtle, very quiet. You can get some wonderful purrs out of it. And on a windy day or a day when I want to reach out and get a response, I'll grab a box call and let some calls rip and bounce them off everything in the woods, almost like a shock call. You know, if there's a hot bird or something like that, wow, that's nice. If there's a hot bird, they will answer the box call. Bernie says, I've been watching you since you were young, overweight, and had hair. Still enjoy doing it. Yes, there was a time I was young. And yes, there was a time I was overweight. And I still have hair. I still have some hair. It's just kind of thin right here. And I just said, to heck with it. I don't want to deal with it anymore. And I'm just going to shave it off. Jason Karsten's the man, True North Guide Service up in Sault Ste. Marie. Jason was on the show last week. If you want to learn more about Jason and what he has to offer, very interesting guy, very interesting fishery there in the eastern UP, the St. Mary's River down to Drummond Island, up into Lake Superior. Very interesting guy. Check out last week's show, the podcast version of last week's show. And you can learn a lot more about him. Newaygo County checking in. Hello, John. How are you this evening? Yes, you do make them. The three bones out of the wing. You kiss or suck, making clucks, cackles, and yelps. Okay. Oh, okay. I get it now. So it's a mouth. Okay. Dennis says it's like tube. Okay. I gotcha. Great. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. Thanks, Terry. Brian says, just back from baiting bears. You stink of donuts and molasses. The huge bear is coming regularly. He's 600 pounds plus. Brian, remind me, I remember the picture of the bear. Yes, I have used a box call to produce a gobble, and it can make a pretty loud gobble, can it? Help me out, Brian. Are you in Ontario? Because if you're a Michigan guy, I don't know why you'd be baiting bears. In fact, I don't think you can bait bears yet. So you must be an Ontario guy, Brian. Forgive me. I'm not making the connection here. John says it's all good here after the storm. So you got a storm, huh? You are in Ontario. Okay. Who are you baiting for, Brian? What's your company or what's your outfitter service? I heard you guys had a pretty good storm, John. we could use some rain here. We got a little bit of rain. It got real dark and pretty loud, but we didn't get a lot of rain. I can click. Let's see if I can. I can't when I'm in this. I like very much Ron St. Louis of Northern Wilderness Bear Outfitters in White River, Ontario, because he's my guy. Before then, it was Pete Jones of Superior Bear Outfitters. I had some hunting experiences in Ontario that were less than stellar. I hooked up with Pete. Great hunts. Bait for yourself, and I bait for myself and take out first-time bear hunters. That's got to be pretty cool. The experience of taking out first-time bear hunters, what a rush that would be. Good for you, Brian. That's very cool. And Pete sold the operation to Ron St. Louis. I can't speak highly enough about this. If you're looking for someplace in Canada to bear hunt where the odds of success are good, a first-rate operation, a lot of good guys up there. It's grown into a big operation. When I first hunted with Pete, there were about 6 guys up there. And now Ron has built it into a very, very big operation, but it's still a very good operation. It's very rewarding. I bet it is. Thunderstorms help the mushrooms pop. Dennis says they got 1.5 inches in Aranac County of rain. Wow. You guys who got rain, why didn't you share a little bit of it across the state? Bear hunting's a riot. Bear hunting's a riot. I always say bear hunting and turkey hunting are the bear and turkeys are the 2 critters that are perfect for bow hunting. Although I will admit, I've got 2 bear hunts coming up this fall. In Ontario, I will definitely hunt with my dart and crossbow. And I will most likely, almost assuredly, hunt with my dart and crossbow in Michigan. I have yet to take a Michigan bear, and I would like my first one to be with an arrow and a broadhead. Now, the second time around, I think what I might do is use that Brenton 350 Legend that I don't have yet, but I'll be getting soon. Move my bait back a ways and try bear hunting with a gun to see what that's like. I've never done it, so we'll see. What else? I'm probably going to wrap up a couple of minutes early tonight because my family's waiting for me for dinner. They went to my granddaughter Addison's. Jim says they got hammered at Pratt Lake too. Where'd you go? There we go. Brian, anyone pick fiddleheads? Dave Miner, Chef Dave Miner was talking about fiddleheads today in his recipe. Eric's headed back to Maine the first week of September for bear. I've heard that Maine hunt is wonderful. Do I eat the bear? Of course. I love bear meat. I don't like bear steaks, but we like bear burger and we love bear brats on the grill. They're excellent. Steak, don't offer me a bear steak and don't offer me a bear roast. I'm not interested. But burger and brats, yes, indeed, we do eat those. Anyway, my granddaughter Addison, crazy good softball player who's playing varsity as a freshman. Yeah, Jason says yes, amen to bear brats. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. Addison had a ball game tonight. Home run king Addison. She crushed a few. How do you know that, Scott? She hit a home run last night against Davison. I was at that game. She said, Grandpa, you're bad luck. I've never hit a home run while you were at a game. Well, we broke that streak, didn't we? That's on your bucket list, to hunt bear with a flintlock. That would be very, very cool. Oh, you're following her on James' page. Okay. That's probably where Scott's watching her too. 4 for 4 in 2020. How cool is that? Anyway, they had a ball game tonight that I couldn't go to because I wanted to spend some time with you, my friends. But now I'm done. I'm done with you. James keeps you up to speed. They're holding a table. They're going to wait till I get there to eat. The place they are going, I don't believe has Maker's Mark, but it has good dark beer. And you know what that means? That's where I'm going. Slow cooker or make pulled bear. Yep, that's the way to do it. All right, my friends, like I say, I'm going to bail out of here about 5 minutes early. My name is Mike Avery. The website is MikeAveryOutdoors.com. My email address, and please don't hesitate to use this, is Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com, Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Use that to reach out to me with questions, comments, suggestions, the Ask Avery segment questions. I would prefer you share your pictures like on my Facebook page. Just post them directly to the mentions tab. Don't email them to me. Post them to the mentions tab. All right. I will have a good dinner. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. Brian, nice to have you along with us. All right, friends. Thanks for joining me on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. We'll see you next week.